Baker Mayfield was in Norman for his annual football camp, but media had a chance to talk to him, and we'll hear what he had to say about one John Mateer coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Make sure you're checking your podcast feeds for your drive home in the afternoons, because we're dropping more bonus content from time to time. That way you got your show in the morning on the way into work. You got your show in the afternoon on the way home. We want to have you covered all football season long, because there's going to be way more content sometimes than what we're able to cover in our morning episodes. So just be on the lookout for some of that sometimes. And we might hit you on the weekends with some bonus content as well. But Jay, Baker Mayfield spoke to the media about one John Mateer over the weekend, and just talked about his phone call with them. And here's one of the things that really stood out initially. And this, I'm reading this from the Oklahomans, Colton Sully. We had Colton on our show last week to talk Oklahoma football, but this one stood out really. He said he's pretty comfortable in the underdog role. We can relate on that part. And I think, listen, you go back and you listen to Baker and you watch Baker from his time at Oklahoma. I think that's one of the things that everybody loved about him, right? He was this guy that played with a chip on his shoulder from being under recruited and having to walk on at a place, and then even having his job taken from him basically, and not get an opportunity to compete for that job. Yeah. John Mateer kind of comes with a similar mentality. It sounds like
he does. And I like that Baker feels like they can kind of relate, right? Both of them, underdogs, not really heavily recruited like they wanted to. Baker being a walk-on, because he lost his job due to an injury and having to figure things out. And, heck, he didn't even talk to Coach Stoops. He just kind of just showed up and said, "Hey, I'm coming. I don't care what you say. I'm going to show up. I won't play here. I've always been a fan. I'm going to do it." And I basically, Baker saw his mark and was like, "Yep, I'm about to take his job." And he got here, and what'd he do? He took a job. So you got that, which is always a plus. But I like the fact that Baker sees that with Mateer. We keep hearing the comparisons of whatnot. Mateer, of course, says that's high praise. He appreciates it, but at the same time, he's himself, and he wants to be a great version of John Mateer, which, I totally get. I totally get the not wanting to be fully compared to Baker Mayfield, because that's some big shoes to fill. Man's won an Heisman. He was considered one of the best quarterbacks in college football history based upon the way he performed. Well, John's going to have to go out there and at least put up half the numbers. But the best part for him, though, is he's going to have a really solid defense to his system. And so Baker knows talent. Like, Baker he was underdog in the NFL. He's been a journeyman, and now he's found a home at my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thank goodness. I actually love having him as my quarterback. I just need John to go out there and I need him to relish in the underdog role and just start slanging that thing. I need some tutties. It's been a while.
Well, I think what John talked about last week at SEC Media Days, when being asked about the comp, because he's been asked about the comparisons ad nauseum, is that the best way to leave a legacy is to just go win football games.
Yep.
And let the rest of it take care of itself, because that's what Baker Mayfield did. I mean, Baker Mayfield went and won a lot of football games. He didn't win the national championship, but he won conference championships, won a big game up there in the shoe at Ohio State, planted the flag, and established himself as one of the best quarterbacks of the 21st century simply by winning football games, putting up big numbers, obviously, and a lot of the persona goes along with that. But you win, and you pretty much write your own ticket, especially in Oklahoma lore, as a quarterback. If you go win a bunch of football games, you carry Oklahoma to the college football playoff, people are going to remember you, especially if you do it for multiple years. Baker, I think, is beloved in a lot of ways because he was the Oklahoma quarterback for 3 seasons, not just one. He came and he put up big numbers for multiple years at the University of Oklahoma. And so I think that was part of it, not just a one and done. I mean, everybody loves Kyler, everybody loves Jalen, but not to the same extent that we love Baker. So for John Mateer, like, that's what it comes down to for you, is go play and go win. Here's what else Baker had to say. Before I knew he was coming here, as a fan of football, you watch college football when you're on the road, when we travel. I loved the way he plays. There are some similarities in our game, the way he carries himself. You can tell that leadership goes a long way with him. So I love that. And I'm excited that he came in, and we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. It's exciting.
Yeah, bet it is. And that's the thing. It's football players love watching football. And everyone that, I mentioned this in the first segment, that everyone that watched the games that found themselves up for a little bit of a Pac 12 after dark, which is always a good time. I'm so glad that it's actually going to come back. They talked about how much fun it was watching Washington State. Everything about them was fun, and you felt it. You just felt how fun it is. And with Mateer being a much, I guess you could say, quote unquote, stronger runner than Baker. I mean, it's nothing against Baker. Baker knows this. He knows that he wasn't really a running quarterback. He was a quarterback that could run, and he would run often. That dude runs. Mm-hmm. John Mateer tucks, quarterback design run, and he's bigger. Like, he's purposely up there getting closer to 230 to be able to absorb all of these hits that he knows he's going to take. Hopefully he avoids more of them, but he's going to take some hits.
Yeah.
Teams are going to go after him. They're going to go after his legs. That's going to be the only way to bring a dude like him down. They're going to have to find ways to tackle this man. And guess what? Material's going to be ready for it. He's going to be ready to perform and play. And so, yeah, I am here 100% for what he's going to give us this season.
Yeah, it's maybe one of the most anticipated quarterback debuts in a while. Like, I know everybody was really excited about Caleb, but you didn't know that you were going to get Caleb in that 2021 season, right? It was still Spencer Rattler. He was the starting quarterback. And while everybody was like eager to see Caleb, you didn't know that you were going to get him then when you did. And then obviously when he came, it was just like, dude, Caleb's here. He's ready to go. I think maybe everybody was excited about Spencer. I don't know, back in 2020, if the hype was as high then as it was now. I think because COVID, there was so much uncertainty as to whether the season would be played even, that maybe there just wasn't as much talk about, the excitement behind getting to see Spencer Rattler as there maybe is with John Mateer. And a lot of that could just simply be because you've seen John Mateer go produce at the collegiate level, that now that he's here, like, oh, let's go. Let's see what he can do for Oklahoma, because you need a bounce back season offensively. And hopefully here's the guy that's going to take you to that next level. And listen, I think he's the guy, man. I think he's got it. He's got that it factor, that saying, I'm him. Like, he's him. He's a dude that's going to lead your team, and he's going to lead from the front. He's going to be a guy that, and we dropped a little short about it. He wants to show who he is with his work ethic and his determination and his demeanor. And I think all of that stuff, all of the intangible stuff that you can't see in a box score, you can't see even sometimes when you flip on the film, it's those intangibles that I think are going to make the biggest difference for Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, he brings energy. He brings the energy of, I want to put this team on my back, and I want to go win some games. And if he can win some ball games, man, he's going to go down in Oklahoma history as yet again another great transfer quarterback.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Again, go check out all of the content we created for you from last week. A lot of great interviews with Jim Nagy, Mark Henry, Colton Sully of the Oklahoman, Parker Thune of OU Insider, all Jordan Rogers, ESPN. Who else? Tyler McComas of the Ref. Dario Nova.
We had Richard Johnson from
CBS Sports. What else we got? SEC Mike. We had SEC Mike on from that SEC podcast. Again,
Robert Spears
Jennings had that one too. Sorry, Robert. One of our everydayers here on Locked On Sooners. So again, go check out all of the content out there. Thank you so much again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Check out the Portal show with our guy Brian Smith covering recruiting and the transfer portal over there on the Locked On network as well. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner.
Football is so close. I can
It's coming. I
taste
can
it.
taste it.
I can taste it.
Gene,
Feel
show
like
me a soda.
ribs. Nom, 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 nom.